Now, if only there was a 2D game on the Switch that could get me to use one of these controllers on a whole nother level, something that could really test its input lag and input sensitivity. I wonder what that could be. That's what I'm talking about. Want it, baby. A lot of people have been asking me what the best controller for Super Mario Maker 2 is, and I think that's pretty obvious. I've already made a video on why the SN30 Pro is my favorite controller for the Nintendo Switch, and with its big, fat, familiar D-pad, it's the perfect controller for Mario Maker. That video is a little bit older now, but not at all outdated, except for maybe that little bit about a potential Mario Maker on the Switch. Or maybe it's now more relevant than ever. But now, there's a newer, cheaper version of the SN30 Pro that's wired. Does this change the game at all? Is this my new go-to? Why am I asking the questions? I wrote the video, I know all the answers already. To some people, the price of the wireless SN30 Pro was a big turnoff. I don't think $45 is that unreasonable for a controller, but the fact that it was a third-party controller had some people questioning the quality. Rest assured, 8BitDo makes some quality stuff. Stuff that feels like the first-party accessories that inspired it. And yes, it's pronounced 8BitDo. Dough. 8BitDo. Nintendo, 8BitDo. Do. It's not Nintendo. 8BitDo. I know, that surprised me too. $45 is a steal for a wireless controller with rumble and motion controls. And the motion controls actually work pretty great. You can even find this controller for around $40 sometimes. I'm a big fan of the Game Boy styled one. I just like the D-pad a little bit better. It's slightly firmer, but honestly, they're all great. It's just preference. You might like the original D-pad better, but I don't know you. Then there's this new wired one. It does not have motion controls, obviously. That would be weird for a wired controller. Despite this, it doesn't feel any lighter than the wireless version, which is a good thing because the weight feels good. It's the exact same size and has the exact same buttons, and it's only $25. Right now, it only comes in the modified North American Super Nintendo style. Not only are the buttons purple, but the X and Y buttons are concave, just like they are on the North American SNES. Some people really like this. It doesn't really make a difference to me at all. I really would have liked to have seen the newer Game Boy one be an option here, but when flipping back and forth between the two controllers, the D-pad feel didn't really make that much of a difference to me. I didn't really notice any difference. The cable is only 6 feet long, which is a bit of a bummer. 10 feet seems to be a better standard for controller cables. I play pretty close to my console, so I don't mind, but I know that I'm a unique case. Most people play on their couches, and whose TV is 6 straight feet away from their couch, not including slacker angles? Nobody, that's who. So if you are one of those people, you can get a USB extension cable, or instead of spending the money on that, just spend the money on the wireless version. There are benefits to having your stuff wired. You don't have to worry about battery life, even though the wireless SN30 Pro has a remarkably good battery life. I rarely ever charge mine. Wired third-party Switch controllers can also wake the Switch up from a full, deep slumber. No wireless third-party controllers can do this. I messed up in my video talking about the Chinese knockoff Pro controller. I said that no third-party controllers can wake the Switch up. That's not true. Third-party wireless controllers cannot wake the Switch up from a full, deep slumber. Some can wake the Switch up after it's been asleep for a few seconds, but none of them can wake the Switch up after it's been asleep for a long while. That's what I mean by a deep slumber. So if you want to be able to wake the Switch up from the home button, either get an official Nintendo one or get a wired controller. This is one of those things that you take for granted when it's there, but you desperately miss it when it's not there. Think like if you have Pokemon Let's Go and you turn the system on with your Pro Controller, then you realize you can't do anything. You have to now take the Joy-Con off of the Switch or grab your Pokeball. That's frustrating. Wired controllers also don't have to be synced. Sometimes third-party wireless controllers can be a pain in the ass to sync. Sometimes they sync perfectly fine first try. Sometimes the Switch decides it just doesn't want to recognize your controller. And this alone could drive somebody to a wired option. Possibly the most important advantage for a wired controller versus a wireless controller is the input lag. There's less input lag in a wired connection. Everybody knows that. But this might not necessarily be the case for the Nintendo Switch. In fact, a wired Pro controller actually produces more input lag than a wireless one for some unexplained reason. I performed my completely scientific test of filming myself in slow motion, pressing the jump button, and then counting the frames between the button press and the action on screen. And there's definitely a difference between the wired SN30 Pro and the wireless one, but not a very significant one. After 6 tests, the wireless controller had an average of 11.3 frames of lag, while the wired controller had an average of 10.5 frames. That's about a frame less lag. This is a little confusing because I'm not talking about frames of actual gameplay, I'm talking about frames from my slow motion camera. If you want to talk about actual gameplay frames, split that in half. We're talking about a difference of less than half a frame of lag. This is basically unnoticeable unless you're like me and you're switching back and forth between controllers, specifically looking for a difference in input lag. What I'm trying to say is I'm more of an elite gamer than you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I mean, I didn't notice any difference between the two controllers until I started swapping back and forth. So it's ever so slight, the difference in input lag. Also, don't go by my frame count in my previous video on the SN30 Pro because I think what I did was I took a 30 frames per second video and put it in a 24 frames per second timeline, and that's why the frame count is weird. So don't go by that. Go by this video's frame count. You'd be fine with either of these controllers. It's really just a preference thing. Do you prefer wireless controllers? Do you want motion controls? Then go for the wireless option. Do you really not care? Then maybe go for the wired option because it's cheaper. As long as you're comfortable with that short cable, make sure that that's not gonna be a problem for you. I didn't really get a chance to talk about this, but all these controllers work great on PC and Mac also, even the wired one. I like to leave the wireless one in my bag because I have the MacBook Pro that doesn't have any USB ports, so the Bluetooth is great for that. And it was a great thing to have when Mario Royale was a thing. Rest in peace. So again, I'm just giving you the options. You weigh the pros and cons yourself and see which one works best for you. I think they're both equally great, the wired and wireless option. Myself, I'm probably gonna leave the wired one plugged into my Switch for now, and I'm gonna leave this wireless one in my bag for travel. This does double duty for me. It could be my Mac controller and also my Switch controller for when I'm traveling. Unless I start to fall in love with this D-pad all over again, but I don't think that's really that big of a deal to me. So what do you guys think about the SN30 Pro wired version? Is it something that you've been thinking about? Were you thinking about getting one of these controllers and maybe this will push you over the edge because it's so much cheaper? Are you somehow upset now that you have the wireless version and now you want the wired one? Don't be. It's not like you're making an upgrade or anything. Is that half a frame of input lag really just wringing you dry? Leave it in the comments below. Add me on Twitter. And you know, all of this other social media garbage. Wringing you dry. That's not what I wanted to say. Anyway, we got new videos and live streams all the time. Our schedule is in a pinned tweet over on our Twitter. We got Wulff Den live every single Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. That's our live podcast where we talk to you. I stream Mario Maker a lot now here on YouTube, but mostly over on twitch.tv/WulffDen. There's more streams there. And if you go to twitch.tv/WulffDen, you might realize that I'm live right now. And if you support us here on YouTube or over on Twitch, you can link those accounts to your Discord account. You can get into our support-only Discord where you get private chat time with us, you get videos like this one early, and you get to play games with us once a month. But of course, the most important thing that you can do is just subscribe to the channel. That's it. And share this video with a friend who's been really into Mario Maker, and you need to get him off that Pro controller. Because this D-pad is way better. Thank you guys very much. You have yourself a good week.